Offside Sports rolls on for the Loft 100 studios in Southern California, presented by 8Beer. No shortcuts. Find them at 8beer.com. This portion of the show is brought to you by Bebemos Tequila, made for those who chase the sun. Find your bottle at WeDrinkTequila.com. All right, she's a working woman, an NFL wife, and a mom. What is life like doing all three of those jobs? Erika Snyder has written a book about just that. Here's my conversation with Erika from earlier today. Erika, I guess let's get right into it. What is the why behind writing Dance with Somebody?
So my husband, Adam Snyder, played for 10 years in the NFL, and we reached our 10th year of retirement. So we kind of just hit this milestone. It's kind of when you've been retired as long as you've played as a professional athlete, it kind of stops you in your tracks. Just kind of reflecting on, wow, like where we've been and how far we've come to be where we are today. I'm also in my third generation of football. So my dad was an NFL coach. So I'm an NFL coach's daughter. And obviously an NFL player's wife. And I have 4 children, but I have 3 sons who now play high-level football. So football has really been just a huge piece of my story for the entirety of my life. So I just felt like I had a ton of knowledge and experience and kind of just wisdom like burning inside me. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it. But ultimately, I decided to put our story on paper.
And one of the cool things about Dance with Somebody is the fact that we get perspective not only from you, the NFL wife and mom and working woman, but also from Adam Snyder, the 10-year vet from the NFL. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So we decided to have, once I was writing through our story, I had him write his perspective after each chapter. So he kind of weaves in the athlete perspective and the male perspective after each chapter and after each piece of our story. So you really kind of get both pieces and both sides. But yeah, it is a demanding profession, physically, mentally, emotionally. It kind of takes its toll.
What about the football part of it for Adam?
The football part?
Yeah.
It all takes its toll on the athlete and the partner and just really on the family as a whole. The highs are really high in the NFL and the lows can be low. So it really just throughout the book, it kind of peels back the curtain on what life is like for the athlete and the family, where everyone's watching on the game days on TV, but we peel back the curtain and really tell the real story behind the game.
If you can, what are some of the key themes and life lessons that you go ahead and kind of go through in Dance with Somebody?
Yeah, there's really so many themes that we kind of touch on as I tell our story. Resilience is a big one. Perseverance through adversity. There's just so much adversity thrown at you in this NFL world. Navigating transition, just having to pick up and move your family across the country. There's themes of family and partnership and womanhood and just identity, finding your identity as the athlete, whether it's through their professional career or post-career once they retire, identity as the wife and the woman behind the scenes and standing alongside the athlete. There's just really a lot of themes and life lessons. We learned so much through our 10 years in the NFL and then the 10 years that have followed. And ultimately, it's really shaped who we are as individuals, as a couple, as a family, and we've really just kind of transferred all those life lessons that we've learned through our last kind of 20 years and into how we raise our children as elite athletes themselves and as people.
Well, it's often the hardest job being the partner of a pro athlete, and then you take in the danger and the physical and mental toll that the National Football League unfortunately takes on a football player. What's it like having to be that rock and be the person that is standing next to them, as they say, when the camera turns off, when the lights go out, and there's no more roaring crowd on Sunday?
Absolutely. I write a lot about that. My chapter 3 in particular is called Trenches. We were going through it. Adam was in his 6th losing season in a row. We had young kids. I was kind of drowning in motherhood, how I explain it. And I had to remain his rock. You know, these professional athletes need a huge support system to really just make it through there. It is just, like I mentioned, it is just so demanding on them physically, mentally, emotionally. They have to be peak performance every day, every week, every year. If you play for, are lucky enough to play for, like my husband, a decade or longer, it takes its toll, and they really need a support system. And when you're the one they come home to, you have to stay their rock. And I knew that I needed to be the solid foundation for him to come home to. So even when I felt like I was kind of drowning, I had to keep my head above water and really stay strong for him.
Yeah, there's a reason women outlive men on so many different levels. And I make sure I tell my wife that all the time. I'm sure Adam Snyder, 10-year NFL vet, feels the same about you. Erika, what do you want readers, once they pick this up and read Dance with Somebody, what do you want them to take away from it?
You know, I think initially, I think just having more insight and kind of a different perspective of the human side and the life behind these professional athletes. I think it's just important to hear that they are human, and we all go through the same, like I said, life lessons. And as mothers, as fathers, as men, it's not easy. And I just like I said, getting a different perspective, also just relatable stories. It's been one of my favorite parts after putting our story out there, is just hearing how readers in the community can relate so much to different pieces of our stories. So no matter what your profession is, no matter what your paycheck is, we all really just go through the same human life lessons. And I just love hearing how readers can relate and how different pieces of our story resonate with them. So I just love it. And also just the impact that telling your story and sharing your story can have on so many has been kind of a beautiful lesson for me. I was apprehensive at first about really putting it out there, and it's just, I've really enjoyed having that human connection with whether fans or readers or other athletes. There's been so many, even just teenage athletes, that are just relating to the hard work and the perseverance, and enjoying hearing that NFL athletes and professional athletes go through all the same things throughout their life and throughout their journey. So just hoping that our story can be relatable, and people can really maybe apply different life lessons, and know that they're not alone in their own life journey or athletic journey at that.
I'm going to put you on the spot here. You went through it with your husband, 10 years in the NFL, and now you've got sons who are playing football. Do you want them, if they're lucky enough, to experience what the NFL is?
I do, because it's their dream. It really is. So we have 3 sons and a daughter, and they are all high-level athletes. Our oldest son there they are. Our oldest son just committed. He is a quarterback. He just committed to play at Boise State University. It's their dream. It really is. We have never pushed any of this on them. My boys are natural at football. We've had them play all sports growing up, and wanted to make sure they found their own path. And it's their goals, and they have goals and aspirations and dreams to play at the highest level. So I absolutely support that. It can be stressful, especially the quarterback mom world in life is
sure.
It's not easy. I mean, so obviously my husband was an offensive lineman, but I was very close with all the quarterbacks. Some of my best friends, their husbands played quarterback. So just kind of watching that journey. And now my son is in that position, and I'm the mom, and it's worse. It's worse when it's your kids out there, and the pressure and all that. But you know what? Because we've lived this life, and like I said, it's been my whole life from a little girl up until now, raising my boys. So we kind of know what's going on, and we have a lot of experience. So we try to guide them. We always say we're the guardrails for them, and it's their own journey. We're going to give them everything we know to try to help them succeed and be at their best, but ultimately it's their journey. But sure, yeah, think it would be amazing if my boys could experience this life, because it's an incredible life, and there are many things that obviously we don't take for granted. But like I said, there are challenges along the way too, but we'll be there alongside our kids to help them navigate the highs, lows, and all the extremes that comes with this life.
The book is Dance with Somebody, A Wife's Distinct View, a Decade in the NFL and Beyond. Erika Snyder, so glad you were able to join me today and join us today on Offside Sports and talk about the book. Thank you so much. Congratulations, and I hope it continues to be a hit. And good luck to you and your family the rest of the way.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much.
All right, that's Erika Snyder, author of Dance with Somebody. On the other side, are the Raiders going to take Mr. Mendoza #1 overall? We'll talk a little football. We'll get to our bets of the show as Offside Sports, presented by 8 Beer, continues after this.